Hey, and welcome everybody. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Welcome, y'all. Thanks for being part of the broadcast today, guys. We've got a full lineup today. Hopefully I can get everything in. If we go a little bit long, you guys don't mind, do you? Okay, I hope you don't mind, because we might just go a little long today. So today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the DSA. We're going to be talking about the Muslim Brotherhood. We're also going to be talking about why these folks have a problem with Israel. Okay, the show today is the takeover of America by the Islamists and the rise of anti-Semitism in the Democrat Party. So guys, stick around. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about it. This is Sherman Ray, the Nevada Conservative Podcast. We'll be right back. Stick around. A little bit of something in my throat there today. Hey guys, hello, this is Sherman Ray. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the broadcast today. Something happened today. I got to tell you guys, before we get going too much further, today was the first day of school. So many of you know I work for the school district here in Las Vegas, and so one of the things that happened today is like a bunch of teachers who follow me online came up to me. You know, they caught me on the side, you know, kind of walk up to you by the side, and they go, "Sherman, we really enjoy what you say online. We really do." And I said, "Well, you know, I am very opinionated." And they go, "Oh, we love it. We love that." And so it was very cool. So guys, there is hope for, you know, there's hope for the world. And I never tell anybody what school I work at, or I would never badmouth, because I love everybody at the school I work with. They're actually very cool people. But we definitely want to pray for all of those folks. So anyways, folks, before we get going too much further, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Excuse me. Hit that subscribe button. And that way, every time we have a show, which we're going to try to do this every day at 2:30 now, folks. My time is starting to get I'm starting to get a good working knowledge of, you know, my time schedule. So I think 2:30 will get us in there. Today, guys, we're going to talk about what happened last night. Many of you know that last night, Abdul El Sayed, he won the Democrat primary up in Michigan, beat Haley Stevens, and he became the first, I think he's the first Muslim candidate for Senate. He's not won yet, but he definitely beat her. He squeaked by like 1 point. So, which means half the Democrat Party was against him. He says he's not a DSA member, but folks, I can guarantee you, this guy is not. He's worse than a DSA member. We're going to talk about that today. But he's not just a run-of-the-mill Democrat. He's a nut job, man. And so he is. We did this show. I wish I could play back some of the clips we had of him before. But one of the things that El Sayed is he. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back, way back here, folks. Go way back. And El Sayed, one of the things that he did as a young man, 13, 14 years old, his parents sent him back to Egypt so he could, you know, get acquainted with his Muslim roots. Okay, and when he went back there, as the story goes, and this is well documented, so this guy wrote about it, and it's been well documented, that he really picked up on the whole Muslim Brotherhood thing. To the point where he actually became radicalized as a teenager. Now, at the time, we didn't realize that's what it was, but that's exactly what it was. I mean, he was in the streets saying things. The police were, you know, saying, "Hey, who's this kid?" And his grandparents, who he's coming to visit in Egypt, you know, to retrace his Muslim roots and stuff like that, said, "Oh, you can't say anything to him because he's an American. You know, don't arrest him," that kind of stuff. And that's when he started flashing his visa and saying, oh no, or his passport and saying, no, I'm an American, got out of trouble. But this began his trip down this whole Islamic, Muslim Brotherhood thing, because he really thought that they were fighting for the right cause. So this became, and so that's really what we're going to be looking at today. This is why this guy's so dangerous, because he's not just a Muslim. Okay, I mean, being a Muslim doesn't automatically disqualify you from public office in America. Okay, we've got all kinds of people here in America, but this is a Christian nation, guys. And that's what our founding fathers really wanted everybody to understand. That the reason why you have all the rights, the reason why you can say the things you say, the reason why you can be anything you want, is because our laws are based upon Judeo-Christian ethics, Judeo-Christian foundations. That's what everything is. If it were not for the freedoms that the Bible gives us, you as a Muslim, as an atheist, as a Hindu, or whatever, you could not practice those things, because you cannot do those things in, like, China. You know you get where I'm going? You can't just go into places in Saudi Arabia and say, okay, I'm going to pick up my Bible and do these things, because they are not a Judeo-Christian country. We have freedoms here, and because our Bible says that we have inalienable rights. Okay, our freedoms come from God, not from man. And so when our founding fathers wrote our documents, that's how they founded it. They're saying, hey, look, it's not the government that gives you the rights. The government fights for those rights based upon your inalienable rights given to you by God. Okay, I don't want this to be a theological thing, but that's kind of where it is. Okay, well, El Sayed, though, doesn't believe that. He believes that, guess what? He believes in the Muslim ethos. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that this guy says all the time. Because when he was running, he began to say things like AIPAC money. You guys remember this? He kept saying, "What's going on with this AIPAC money? You got that I want to remove AIPAC money from all." All life. And so the criticism about AIPAC, now who is AIPAC? AIPAC is the, they are an Islamic, a Jewish civil rights group. So let's just put it that way, okay? So they fight for the rights of Jews. And which is great. There's nothing wrong. That it seems like every group has a political arm that fights for their rights. But Arabs don't like this. Okay, they don't like the fact that AIPAC is around fighting for Israel, and they say it seems like this is the biggest criticism of AIPAC from Muslims. And Muslims say that they, because they don't believe that they're fighting for Palestinian rights. Critics object to AIPAC's strong support for Israel's government policies and military actions that impact Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. Okay, well, sorry, Israel does have a right to exist, but these folks, these Islamists, these Muslim Brotherhoods guys like that, they don't like the fact that Israel wants to exist. They don't like the financial aid that America gives to Israel. Well, I'm sorry, Israel has a very a deep-rooted relationship with America, and we don't have enough time to go over the whole thing right now. But there's a real reason for America supporting Israel. One, okay, and we did this, I don't know, a couple of days ago, I guess, is that this being a Judeo-Christian ethnic country, okay, Judeo-Christian, Jewish Christian ethics, we found a lot of our laws, customs, the things we do based upon Judaism, okay? Not only that, there is a spiritual component to us as a nation, because guess what, guys? Jesus was a Jew. And if there was no Jesus, there'd be no Christianity. If there was no Christianity, there would be no United States, guys. And once again, I don't want this to be a religious, discussion, even though I don't mind it, but that's kind of, there's definitely some roots there. So we will always support Israel. We will never go against Israel so that some Arab country can feel good about themselves, okay? Especially because Israel is being surrounded by these Arab nations that want to kill them. Also, AIPAC's political action committees spend heavily in U.S. primaries and trying to get people elected. Okay, well, guess what, guys? Every group does that. The food and drug people do that. Okay, Big Pharma does that. I don't see people going out, saying we're going to kill Big Pharma. Every group you can imagine spends money on elections, but for some reason these guys don't like Jews doing it, and it's for a reason. Is because they don't like Jews. That's all there is to it. So, as you continue to hear these, we're going to take a break here, but you're going to continue to hear people like Hassan Piker, people like the Squad, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Ayanna Pressley. All these guys talk about AIPAC money. It's because they have this strong sense of hating Judaism. And that is something that continues to percolate through the Democrat Party. Let's do this. Let's take a really quick break, folks. We're going to come back to this. We're going to finish up this discussion really quick. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about anti-Semitism in the Democrat Party and why this is so important that we eradicate this in America. Sherman Ray, the Nevada Conservative. We'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, folks, this is Sherman Ray. I'm back. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you guys for being a part of the broadcast. And the last segment, I tend to go long on the whole subject of anti-Semitism in government and politics. It's because it's something we never thought we would ever see. I don't think we ever thought we would see the level of anti-Semitism in America until like the last maybe 6 years, 7 years. No, it's probably a little longer than that. And that was when the Squad came in. You guys remember these guys, AOC, what we talked about it before, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush. Well, and poor Cori, she thought she was going to make it back into Congress. Didn't happen. They kicked her to the curb. And Ayanna Pressley. And now you add to that cadre Zohran Mamdani, Hassan Piker, and he's not even an elected official, and now Abdul El Sayed, and many people in the Democrat Party, even Jews in the Democrat Party, are jumping on this bandwagon of anti-Semitism against Jews. And this is something we thought we would never see again in America, but it's rearing its head in the Democrat Party. So we've got something. We've got to look at this very soberly, because it's something that cannot continue to happen in America. Let's turn a corner here, guys. I don't know. I'm gonna go. We're just gonna skip ahead. Guys. Okay. Let's talk about the election that was just had yesterday, and that concluded this morning with Abdul El Sayed and this lady named Haley Stevens. The Dems spent a lot of money on this, guys. Not just a lot, but a lot of money. They spent a lot of money on this race. $60 million. Can you imagine that? Outside money came in to try to not get this guy in office. And Democrats really did not want this guy in office. I mean, they did everything they could not to get him into office. But unfortunately, it happened. This morning before I left the house early this morning and came back and checked on it, they called the race about 9:45ish, something like that this morning. 1 point. It was a 1 point race where this guy El Sayed won, and this says a lot. And this says a lot about the Democrat Party, and it says a lot about their struggle that they're having. They're having a real struggle inside of the party. And right now, the Democrat Socialists are starting to call the shots, and they're not taking any prisoners. So a lot of Democrats, they thought, what we'll do is when if they win, it's a big tent. They'll get they'll assimilate. They'll come along. We'll pat them on the head. They sit on the corner. We'll give them a community assignment. And now these Democrat socialists are going, no, that's not going to happen. Matter of fact, you guys sit in the corner, and if you don't like it, we'll kick you out too. It went from a group of just a couple of kids, throwing rocks at your window, to now these guys, you're outside of the building now, and you're hoping, you're knocking at the window going, can you come back in? And that's what happened to the Democrat Party. So that's, they said this, let me read this quote. This is very interesting. So the messy primary pitting their pick Haley Stevens, the Democrats, against progressive Abdul Sayed, and Mallory McMorrow, and she suspended her bid a little while earlier, saw a record amount of outside spending. Ad Impact, which tracks campaign advertising, called the 2026 race the most expensive of the Democrat side in history. That's how much money they spent. A lot of money trying to get this guy out because they see something in this guy they don't like. Okay, they did it with Bernie. All they had to do was kneecap him, and he was done. Okay, but with El Sayed, he's got some real juice behind him, and so this is something to watch. It really is, guys. Okay, so let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the rise of Islam in the United States, and the and hopefully what it will not end up in is the takeover of the United States. So this is Sherman Wright of the Nevada Conservative Podcast. We'll be back in just a second. Alrighty. Okay, so I wanted to get this in, folks, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, about the effort that is being put forth by the Muslim Brotherhood to try to change America. Now, and we did I don't know, what do we call it? A 2-minute video on this. And we put it up on our Facebook page. People just jumped all over, and it's being really widely disseminated all over the place. Literally, in the last month, you guys, we've had like 1 million people disseminate some of the stuff that we've got out there, which is just amazing. But this one thing evidently missed the radar, but people understand it, they feel it, something is ahead, but they couldn't put their finger on it. So I want to explain this to you. They know something is wrong. Here's what's going on. The Muslim Brotherhood, now I'm going to go back to this El Sayed guy and the Islamification of America. The founders of the Muslim Brotherhood, Okay, this comes from an internal document in 1991. It's called an explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America, written by Mohammed Akram, a senior Brotherhood figure in North America. Okay, it was seized by the FBI in 2004 and entered as evidence in the 2008 Holy Land Foundation terrorism financing trial. Now, this is key language from the memo. The process of settlement is a civilizational jihad process with all the words means. Okay? Most understand that the work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated and God's religion is made victorious over all other religions. The strategy emphasizes long-term, non-violent, or pre-violent settlement and institutional penetration, building organizations, coalitions, influence in education, media, politics, and civil society to present Islam as a civilizational alternative and ultimately displace Western culture from within, rather than through open military confrontation. So, what this means is instead of Islamists trying to come at us with guns and saying we're going to try to fight you, which is ridiculous, they can do it from within. They start building coalitions. They start building organizations. They present Islam as an alternative to good old-fashioned capitalism. And instead of them coming with guns, they come to you with that smile. Remember, you guys have seen this smile before. That's a Zohar Mamdani smile. That's the Abdul El Sayed smile. Hi, Americans. We're here to... Okay, that reminds me of Mars Attacks. Remember Mars Attacks? We're here to be your friends. Then they kill you. But it's serious. It's a long-range approach to Western society to try to destroy American society. And this is part of it. If they can get people into office, guys, and this, I just cannot emphasize this more. If they can get people into office, it's a slow drip, drip, drip before they start changing American society. This guy, Abdul El Sayed, is just another drip. We already saw it with AOC. Okay, she came in looking all cute. Okay, they had Ayanna Pressley. They've got Ilhan Omar. They've got Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley. They've got all these people drip, drip, drip. Now they got Zohar Mamdani. See what he's doing to New York. Okay, I'm not being hyperbolic here, you guys. This is from their own paperwork. This was taken from the FBI, and they said this is what they're doing. And we just don't know it yet. There are not enough people saying things loud enough about this, saying, you guys, we need to wake up. The Muslim Brotherhood, once again, this is called civilizational jihad. Okay? Jihad, instead of it being war, it's change. It's jihad. It's something sweet. It's nice. It's civilizational change. Okay? What they're going to do is they're going to try to destroy America from the inside out. So on one side, we've got the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, and on the other side, we've got the Islamists, the Muslim Brotherhood. And between the two of them, they are trying to do a pincer move on America to try to destroy America. And we're caught in the middle of it. Unfortunately, for most Americans, they're unaware of it. They're unaware of it. Guys like Ted, I just saw it before I came on. Guys, and it's funny, I'm doing a show prep on this stuff, and I see Ted Cruz on there talking about the exact same thing. And we've been yelling about this, been screaming about this, and nobody is listening, okay? So anyways, let's take a real quick break, folks. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in America. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. We'll be right back. Stick around. All right, folks, we are back to Sherman Ray. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you once again for being a part of the broadcast, folks. You know, I forgot to even tell you all about this because I know we've got people who have been following us online, and I want to apologize to you folks that are online. You're watching us, and if you wanted to get in on the conversation, go ahead and leave. You can actually leave a conversation. You can leave it, and I will get to it. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at one right now. It says, "You are so full of crap." And I'm going, well, you know, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. I will write back to these guys. There are so many people that have opinions about what we're talking about. But as you saw here, guys, this was an FBI memo that they were talking about what's going on with the Muslim Brotherhood. So we're not just saying things just to be saying it, guys. We just don't do that. That would be irresponsible of us. So we try to, you know, back up our things with facts. Anyways, if you would like to get a copy of today's broadcast, you can go on Spotify and you can download it. You can also get it here on YouTube. We'll actually put parts of it out on our social media sites. I would encourage you folks, go ahead and follow us on our social media sites. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Truth Social, Rumble, and you can check it all out there. And we're blowing up on Facebook, guys. I really encourage you to get up on Facebook with us. We're blowing up. Also on our website at thenevadaconservative.com. Anyways, it's been Sherman Ray for the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you guys once again for being a part of the broadcast. We'll see you again tomorrow, 2:30, okay, for the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Bye-bye.